I am in two minds about this film. On the one hand, it's done very well for itself, and I can completely see why. On the other, I felt like it just didn't focus on the areas that I would have found most gripping. This is based on true events, unfortunately. Baby Sellers was released in 2013, directed by Nick Willing, written by Suzette Couture, and stars Jennifer Finnigan and Kirstie Alley. I will be honest, if it wasn't for Kirstie Alley in this, I wouldn't have even heard of it. And I will watch everything she's done, so I gave this a watch, and I actually did think it sounded really fascinating. It sounded right up my street. And having watched it, I did think it was fascinating, but it wasn't as gripping or as compelling as I hoped. That's not because of the subject matter, I just think it's because of the execution of the narrative. It didn't focus on certain things enough, and maybe it focused on other things a bit too much. But I'm not going to go into too much detail about the specifics because it probably is still worth watching. But basically this is about infant trafficking and babies that are born in primarily here, India, and taken back to America to be adopted by American adoption agencies. And that's horrific. Because it's not just, as the film highlights, it's not just babies who are unwanted or mothers who can't look after their children, so they're taken away. There was one case, I guess this is a tiny spoiler, and this bit did shock me, this bit was tough, where a mother gave birth and she was told that the baby didn't make it. And it turns out, as she learns quite quickly, the baby is still alive. They were just going to traffic this child for adoption in America. And as far as money-making schemes go, that's tough. That's a tough one. That's brutal. The acting is great. I absolutely love the acting in this across the board. I found everybody's performances really compelling, obviously including the wonderful Kirstie Alley, who plays Carla. Carla is... It's really weird seeing Kirstie Alley play a character who's not that trustworthy. Normally she's in comedies and her characters are quite fun. When she's in dramas, she's usually the protagonist who is being, abused or in a dire situation. So it's quite unusual from my perspective. And that was something I found quite interesting. Jennifer Finnigan plays Detective Nick Morrison, and I liked her character. I don't think the character's actions were 100% believable. Again, that's down to the actual writing of the narrative, not the acting. But in all, I think it told the story pretty well, insofar as it was shocking, it was gripping, and, I feel like it was eye-opening, because I had no idea this kind of thing went on. Not to this extent. It's quite brutal. I don't know too much about the true events. I'm not sure how much was taken from, absolute fact, and how much of it has been kind of amended for artistic purposes. But I think the general message is pretty clear. I do think it's probably worth watching if it sounds like your kind of thing, because as I said, it is eye-opening, it is educational, but it's not quite as good as I thought it would be. Kirstie Alley, absolutely beautiful. The film has its benefits, but I just don't think it quite hit the mark.